Magandang araw sa lahat ng ating mga tagapanood. Nandito po tayo ngayon sa Provincial Environment and Natural Resources Office para po ating makapanayam si Engineer Pipalawan Naga. Ngayon po ay ating tatalakayin ang usapin tungkol sa kalikasan, likas yaman at tungkol na rin po sa Lake Lanao ng ating probinsyang Lanao del Sur. Pag-uusapan din po natin ang problema tungkol sa kuryente at pati na rin po ang accomplishments ng Penro. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the Capital Update. Isa sa mga EcoGov Technical Assistance na ibinahagi ng Penro ay ang Forest at Forest Land Management. Nagsimula ito sa Municipality of Bubong at kasalukuyang nasa barangay profiling at mapping stage. Ang makakakumpleto nito ng mga qualified constituents ay makakatanggap ng Khalifa Certificate. Pangalawa ay ang Urban Environmental Management. The Solid Waste Management Assistance was given to Marawi City. A separate technical working group was created by the city government of Marawi for its implementation. Pangatlo ay ang Coastal Resource Management. The assistance was designed for the coastal towns of the province, tulad ng Kapatagan, Balabagan, Malabang, and Picong. The project was incorporated in EcoGov option years, that is 2010 to 2011. The CRM was not implemented due to the unplanned departure of EcoGov. Panlima ay ang capacity development. 20 nominees ang napili para sumailalim sa qualifying examinations para sa Ateneo Master in Public Management Program. The regular Ateneo MPM program was modified and redesigned to reflect USAID's experiences in Mindanao while implementing environmental programs. The outcome was a master's degree specializing in environmental governance. Hence, the ADMO-ASOG MPM Specialized in Environmental Governance degree program comprised of 13 modules. The program's activities for years 2013 until 2016 are the following. Number 1, resolution and completion of the provincial and municipal political boundaries. Number 2, survey of the 4 major rivers. Number 3, construction of forest nursery or seedling bank. Number 4, organization of the Provincial Mining and Regulatory Board or PMRB. Number 5, operationalization of the Provincial Environmental Code. Number 6, completion of the FLUP pilot project in the Municipality of Bubong. Number 7, rehabilitation of Lake Lanao watershed and riverbank stabilization including dredging of the 4 major river outlets. Number 8, construction of washrooms and toilets and bathrooms in selected barangays in the 18 municipalities along the shoreline of Lake Lanao and Marawi City. And number 9, implementation of the INREM project. The Governor has assigned and/or delegated the Penro since 2007 to the President in various meetings, fora, consultations, and conferences, oftentimes beyond the mandate of the office. Nandito po tayo ngayon sa opisina ng ating Provincial Environment and Natural Resources Officer na si Engineer Pipalawan Naga. Sir, alam po namin napaka-busy niyong tao, kaya naman po sobrang nagpapasalamat kami sa inyong pagpapaunlak sa aming imbitasyon na makapanayam kayo ngayong araw.
Thank you very much naman. Itong hinihintay nating opportunity na mga ganitong okasyon, we should be able to inform the constituency of Lanao Sur. So mga anong ginagawa natin. Base sa mga instructions programa ng ating mahal na provincial governor, si Governor Bombit Atyong.
Sir, unang katanungan po, at ito ay palagi namin tinatanong sa lahat ng aming nakapanayam, ano po yung role or functions and responsibilities ng Provincial Environment and Natural Resources Office?
Napakahalaga po niyang isang role kasi ang issue ngayon is climate change that concerns environment. Kaya lang, very peculiar po ang Lanao Sur. Kasi dahil sa yaman ng Lanao Sur, may interest ng national government. And halos kalahati ng Lanao Sur ay tinatawag na protected area. Protected area means, by law, it is the national government that should manage the natural resources. So, by being a protected area, medyo nawala sa responsibilidad ng LGU. Yung dapat na protection and management power ng local government chief executive. So, yun ang kaibahan sa ibang probinsya sa Pilipinas dahil mayaman nga tayo, so may interest ang national government. So, ang role natin ngayon is basically a support doon sa mandated agencies tulad ng DNR, National at saka DNR-ARM. So yun ang mga sinusuportahan natin, lahat ng programa nila. Bukod doon, we are also doing our best to protect and manage our natural resources.
Okay. Sir, sa halos 7 taon na po na pagkakaupo at pagbibigay serbisyo ng ating gobernador na si Governor Mamintal Bombet Adjung Jr. and with you po as the head of Penro, ano po yung mga naging projects or accomplishments ng Penro?
Nako, marami po. I took over this office last year lang, in July 8. So barely, exactly, mag-isang taon ako rito sa opisina na ito. But I was here also as a consultant of the governor since he took power in 2007. And from there, binago natin lahat yun. Itong issue natin dahil ang pinaka importante natural resource sa buong Pilipinas ay ang Lake Lanao, being nagpo-provide siya ng power sa buong Mindanao, and then Mindanao supports yung ekonomiya ng Pilipinas. Ang base sa instruction ni Governor Adjung, naiparating po natin sa halos sa buong mundo. We have participated in international World Lakes Conference in China, in Japan, and in the US in the last 6 years that the governor was in power. At nailahad po natin sa kanila kung anong dapat gawin and how Lake Lanao is important to the economy of this country. And then based on those programs were developed. Kaya lang medyo matagal yung pagre-responde ng national government for rehabilitation programs for the natural resources of Lanao Sur. Thank you.
Sir, kanina po na-mention nyo na it's really the national government who will have to do yung karamihan sa mga yung talagang hands-on ng mga project. No, support tayo dito sa Lanao del Sur. Now, sir, na-mention nyo rin po na ang Lake Lanao isa sa ating biggest source of wealth dito sa Lanao del Sur. Now, ano po yung ginagawa natin dito sa Penro para po protektahan or i-rehabilitate ang Lanao del Sur, even for the meantime, without the direct help muna of the national government? What are the things that we are doing on our end to protect and rehabilitate Lake Lanao po?
Like I said, wala sa atin na mandate to directly protect and manage this land. Yun ang hinihiling natin since 2007 na nangyayari sa ibang areas dito sa Lanao Sur, ang tinatawag nila na co-management agreement approach. Kaya lang, nung idulog natin sa national government, DNR flatly refused the governor na ibigay sa kanya ang pagmamanage. Dahil nga naman siguro, that's understandable dahil doon sa ka-importansya siya ng the importance of Lake Lanao to power generation in Mindanao that supports the economy of this country. So sa atin naman, we do our best and we go out of the box na tumulong sa kanila. Marami tayong ginawa tulad ng pagpunta rito ng EcoGov, Ecological Governance Project. Ang programa is basically for two things. Yung tutulungan tayong mag-manage sa ating watershed, yung pagde-develop ng forest land use planning, IPLIP yung tawag nila, at saka capacity development. Yun namang forest land use planning ay nag-pilot tayo sa municipality of Bobong. Unfortunately, hindi natapos kasi nung katapusan, na-pull out yung EcoGov. But yung capacity development ng selected constituents sa Lanao Sur, natuloy na po yun. In fact, 20 nominees as scholars were made to enroll in a degree specially developed by Ateneo, di Manila University, major in environmental governance. Yung programa ay based on the experiences of USAID in Mindanao. So nakikita nilang problema on environmental issues. They developed and modified a regular masteral degree of Ateneo de Manila, incorporating yung experiences nila. There were 5 modules were changed, modified, reflecting the experiences of USAID. Now, of the 20 nominated scholars, 15 made it in 2011. So, isa pa doon yung tinatawag nilang Integrated Natural Resources Environmental Management Program. It is funded by the Asian Development Bank. So it is our governor that made it through, and we are awaiting implementation.
Sir, sa usapin naman pong solid waste management, ano naman po yung role natin sa usaping ito? Do we also directly implement projects on solid waste, or sa municipal level lang po? Kindly enlighten po our audience.
The law is very clear. Kasi ang probinsya, wala po tayong lupa. We don't have a land. So, yung Republic Act 9003, nakasaad lang doon, is to organize this Provincial Solid Waste Management Board in the province, city, and the various municipalities. And it is the city and the various municipalities that will develop the 10-year solid waste management plan that will be submitted to the province, and then we will consolidate days and make it as a provincial plan. Now, we are awaiting submissions from the various municipalities and the city of the 10-year solid waste management plans. I was informed that the Marawi City has updated their 10-year solid waste management plan, and we are awaiting their submission to the province, which has not happened yet.
Okay, sir, balik po tayo dun sa usapin ng Lake Lanao. Kasi po marami mga tao hindi nila naiintindihan kung ano yung wealth or power na naibibigay ng Lake Lanao sa atin dito sa Lanao del Sur, no? Some are saying na dyan daw nanggagaling ang ating electricity. And if that's true, bakit po palagi po tayo nagkakaroon ng power interruption dito? So baka po pwede natin i-explain sa ating viewers ano what's the role of the Lake Lanao in terms of electric provision dito po sa Lanao del Sur?
Bigyan natin ng kalinaw. Lake Lanao ho, isang outlet niyan. Malawak po ang Lake Lanao, ang Agus River. Along Agus River, nandiyan yung 6 na power plants. Now, these power plants has installed capacity of 727.1 megawatts. That contributes roughly 50% to the power needs of Mindanao. Okay, roughly 50% yan. Yung ilaw naman natin, our power requirement is provided by a utility company. Organized. It's a cooperative under the supervision of the National Electrification Administration. Wala hong connection yung power supply natin sa Lake Lanao. Lake Lanao is providing the generation of power for Mindanao. Now, yung utility company ho ang nagsusupply sa atin. Now, that means Lasoreco. Lasoreco is buying power from NPC through National Grid Corporation of the Philippines. So, wala po connection yun. Kinokonekta ng Lasoreco sa Lake Lanao, wala ho. Lasoreco is a utility company purely established to provide electricity to its service area. Wala hong connection sa Lake Lanao.
So maliwanag po yun, ha? Kasi nagkakaroon ng confusion yung mga tao, no? Palagi nilang ina-attribute sa Lake Lanao. Now, sir, ano po yung mga projects or programs po na pwede pa namin i-expect from your office po?
Marami po. Ngayon, you just come in, we are digitizing our topographic map. Kasi kasalukuyan ho, ongoing yung cadastral survey sa Lanao Sur. The other provinces, our neighboring provinces, tapos po nila yung political boundaries. Tayo lang ang wala. So, very critical po yan dahil it has direct bearing doon sa era na tinatanggap ng probinsya kasi we talk about area, land. So, matindi po natin tinututukan yan. Mayroon tayong ni-establish dito na yung tinatawag nilang Philippine Reference System 92. Control monument, yung survey reference point. If you notice, mayroong hole dyan sa tabi ng masjid. Isa yun, ginagawa pa yan. At saka 4 pang areas, various locations dito sa Marawi City, one on the lake side doon sa Rayamadea to monitor yung fluctuation ng lake water elevation. So, isa pa rin, dinidevelop pa rin ngayon yung Ranao River Basin Plan, which was given to a UPLB consultants, and we will be discussing that. Sabi ko nga, yun, Yung programa, inaantay natin yung INRIM. INRIM is a 7 years program intended for the upper river basin areas. Ito mga watershed areas tulad dito sa eastern side of the lake, covering about 6 municipalities dito sa first district. Intended purposely to rehabilitate yung watershed, bigyan ng pagkakataong panibagong kabuhayan yung mga known areas that are cutting logs. Bibigyan natin sila ng alternative livelihood. Re-rehabilitate din natin yung 4 na ilog dahil sirang-sira na yan dahil doon sa massive runoff ng erosion sa rivers. Yan ang mga forthcoming. Hopefully, we cannot do that in the coming 3 years. Mahaba yan kasi ang pinakamaagang, if we do reforestation today, ang pinakamaagang ma-realize na medyo mag-hold ang water that can mean a difference is 5 years after. Pinakamaagang species yun. So ito mga naka-line up na programa. Bukod pa doon sa programa ng national government intended for Lanao Sur.
Sir, should there be people out there, not just from Lanao del Sur, who have questions relating to environment and natural resources, sino po pwede nilang puntahan or kausapin po dito po sa opisina nyo?
Kami ho, anybody from this office. Kasi meron kami orientation dito. From me down the line, you can ask anybody. You just come in and ask what we're doing, aside from what we have written here in our bulletin board and the programs. And then from the updates we give to the office of the governor. So, kung may magtatanong, anybody in this office can give you a sufficient answer to what we're doing.
Isa po sa mga naging accomplishment ng Penro ay ang pag-digitize at saka pagbibigay po ng accurate na map para po ma-identify natin kung saan po talaga nanggagaling. Like for example, there are calamities, saan po talaga nanggagaling yung tubig, and all other things that has to do with calamities. This is not really my forte, but Engineer P. Palawanaga will further enlighten us about this. So,
ito po is a drainage map that came very timely just after Sindong. It was sent to us in January 16, 2012. Okay, and December 17 yung Sindong, 2011. Okay, so itong mga ito, these are rivers yan. And this is Lanao Sur, the blue one. Itong nakaitim, ito yung pinagsasabi natin watershed reservation ng Lake Lanao. Yan ang pinaka-critical area rito. And this is where the water that generates power supplying electricity in Mindanao. Noong Sindong, on December 24, pumunta rito si then acting Governor Hataman with Governor Adjong. Kasi in all media, lahat yan, Lanao Sur ang culprit sa Sindong that killed thousands and the killer lags. So ang unang-unang nag-proclaim noon is City Mayor of Cagayan de Oro, Imano, doon po, Vicente Imano, na sinasabi niya, the killer lags and the water came from Lanao Sur. On the morning of December 17, 2011. But this drainage map says otherwise. There's not 1 cubic meter of water that came from Lanao Sur that went down to Cagayan de Oro City. Hindi po totoo yun. So it's very important that we can develop this. And we are now developing, digitizing our own map based on the NAMRIA's topography. Naabutan niyo, ginagawa namin dyan ngayon. So it will take some time before we can have a more appropriate and accurate digitized map for Lanao Sur.
And I think, sir, if I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, this will also be very helpful, lalo na po sa disaster risk reduction management. Kasi with this, matutulungan nila tayo ma-identify kung saan manggagaling, kung, di ba po? Okay. So thank you so much.
Hazard maps. Based on after that digitizing, then we can develop all sorts of maps that we need.
Thank you very much po, Engineer P. Palawanaga, and sana po ay makapanayam namin ulit kayo for another update from Penro.
let us know when, and then we'll be there. Like I said, you can ask anybody, and it's not me. This is not me. Anybody from all of us here, our colleagues, can provide information you need.
Pagkatapos po natin bisitahin ang opisina ng Provincial Environment and Natural Resources, ngayon naman po ay makakausap natin ang Executive Director ng Lanao del Sur People's Council na si Professor Nonnie Lau. Atin pong aalamin, paano po ba nakakatulong ang Council sa pag-unlad, sa pagresolba ng ating mga suliranin at sa pagpapalaganap ng kapayapaan dito sa probinsyang Lanao del Sur. Samahan niyo po ako at tayo nang kausapin si Professor Nonnie Lau. Kasama po natin ngayon ang Executive Director ng Lanao del Sur People's Council, si Professor Nonnie Lau. Magandang hapon po, ma'am, at salamat po sa inyong pagpapaunlak.
Magandang hapon po, Miss Lady. Isa po itong karangalan na maging parte ng iyong programa, ang Lanao del Sur People's Council, na isang CSO o isang NGO na partner ng ating provincial government, lalo-lalo na ang ating gobernador na si Governor Bombit Adjong.
Ma'am, una pong katanungan, bakit po na-create ang tinatawag nating LDSPC or Lanao People's Council?
Okay, so ang Lanao del Sur People's Council was created last January 11, 2012, when the provincial governor Bombit Adjong opened his door to all NGOs, kasi ito po yung matagal na po kahilingan ng ating mga non-government organization na how to work with our government, lalo-lalo na ang province. And then, and because we also started our work, lalo na ako noon, in 2000, na si Governor Senior Adjong pa rin yung ano doon, that was our first encounter with the province, and we also assist them a lot on their development programs and activities dito po sa Lanao Sur, pati na rin po sa Marawi City. And then for that, in the creation of the Lanao del Sur People's Council po, ay nangyari po ito in line with the tuwid na daan ng ating Presidente Pinoy, President Aquino, na dapat magtulong-tulong po tayo sa pag-unlad ng ating bayan. And then we have also this tuwid na daan, and then with the participation of the CSOs or the non-government organization. So naging daan po ito ng ating participation sa governance, lalo na ang mga non-government organizations. So it started from there. So at least we are very happy from that time on na binigyan po tayo ng halaga ng ating gobyerno ng Lanao del Sur through our provincial governor Bombit Adjong that time. And then kami po ay nagkaisa. So we've been the initial meeting with the governor, almost more than 20 na NGOs from on that January 11. So sa conference hall po tayo na nagtipon-tipon, and then it's an open heart talk with our governor. What do the NGOs wants and what do the government wants from the CSO. So doon po nagsimula ang partnership ng ating Lanao del Sur People's Council with the Lanao del Sur government.
Okay, so I hope naliwanagan po kayo doon, no? Now, you mentioned po, ma'am, CSO. Sino po yung mga civil society organizations? Kasi na-mention niyo po, sila po yung nagko-compose. Majority of the LDSPC members are from the CSOs. Now, paano rin po nakakasali or paano po maging miyembro ng council? Ano po yung mga factors na kinukonsider? Kahit sino po ba pwedeng sumali?
Sabi ko po noon sa ating dialogue, na inclusive po ito. So, kahit ni sinong NGOs, sinong POs, at sa sinong kooperatiba na gustong sumali sa council na to, ay pwede po siyang sumali. Pati na po ng ating gobyerno. So, from the national line agencies, from the provincial government office, ay pwede po maging membro. So, that time, ang naging aktibo sa amin or sa council during that time is itong si Musa Jamla na siya po yung ating provincial cooperative officer. Yung COS natin that time, si Attorney Mino Makalandap. And we have also one from the PPDO, itong si Dr. Pisigi Tumawis po. And lahat po ng heads of offices ay talagang nandyan po sila. Suportado nila ang ating council. And then from the line agencies, we have the DepEd, the TESDA, aktibo rin sa atin si Ma'am Tata Mapandi. And then nandyan din ang lima ka superintendent natin from the District 1, Division 1, Division 2 that time. Tigda-dalawa po sila, and we have also Marawi City. So, division. So, kasali po sila, and then pinaka maganda dito ay kasali natin or kasama natin ang ating 103rd Brigade at saka yung PNP. Kahit na si po ang head dyan na nandyan ay talagang aktibo po sa council. Noon ay pinakauna doon aktibo sa atin ay itong si late General Lucero. And then we have also a lot of provincial director from the PNP. So naging aktibo din sa atin ang COMELEC. Nang tayo po ay magtrabaho sa ating general registration all over the arm. And then, yung advokasya na on the peace, election, peaceful election rather. So, naging aktibo sa atin si Attorney Nasib Yasin. Sa totoo lang po ay sila po yung umalalay sa council through all these years, yung military po. So, sila po. So, itong ano po ang responsibility ng ating council, no? So initially ang responsibility ng ating council ay of course as a partner in governance ito. So isa na dito yung monitoring and evaluation of implemented projects, development programs and projects of the province. This could be either be locally or nationally funded activities or programs. And then, hindi lang po yun, kailangan po, ang council po ay nag-advocacy also on good governance, of course. Ano nga itong good governance? So, good governance really is responsive constituency governance, no? So, dapat lang ang gobyerno ay tugunan kung ano man yung problema or hinaing ng ating mga kababayan or the community people. Isa po yan sa mandato ng ating council na maging bridge between the community people and the government. So, because we are thinking or talagang ang council po ay we are really representing the community people. So, bali being a representative of the people, kailangan ipatupad natin yung linkage or bridging the problems of the community to the government na matugunan po ito. So yan po ang isang mandato ng ating council.
Salamat po, ma'am. Now, you mentioned po bridge or linkage between the society and the provincial government. Now, napansin ko po na isa po sa mga ginagawa niyong means or ways to achieve that is yung recently concluded CSO dialogue with the governor and line agencies. Besides po dun sa CSO dialogues, ano pa po ba yung mga pwedeng gawin ng council po para po magkaroon ng relationship or mag-maintain ng relationship ang society with the provincial government?
Okay, so marami na po tayong dialogue or conferences or consultation meetings that have been conducted before since year 2012 nang ito ay ma-create as a council. And then isa din dito na paano natin maipatupad, no? Ay balikan ko po yung kanina na tanong na paano maging membro ang mga civil o mga non-government organization. So, ang patakaran po natin dito is we really invited all noted NGOs na operating po sa Lanao Sur and Marawi City na yung kilala po natin na registered ng SEC. Okay. So, kailangan po registered na SEC and then alam natin na may track record po ng mga NGOs. And then, of course, we know them all. And isa pa din dito is kailangan aktibo or operating in the province and Marawi City. Kasi kung hindi sila aktibo, paano natin sila maging oo. So, yun nga. So, karamihan po sa mga magagaling at mga popular na organization dito tulad ng Kalimudan. So, nandyan po nandyan si Aminuddin Kali, ka-appoint lang po as ASEC or Assistant Secretary ng ORG and as a focal person for Lanao Sur. So, nandyan po siya sa taas. And then, nakita ko po yung memorandum, yung tawag niya, yung appointment po niya galing po kay Regional Governor Hataman. And nandyan po din ang Maradika, no? So alam natin ang Maradika is they are really very active in the peace process dito sa mga sa election matters. So naging partner din natin sila doon. So kaya naging successful ang ating ang ating council. So yun, karamihan lang po dito sa ating mga NGOs ay dapat lang aktibo. May track record po ang kailangan na membro. But before that, we really invited them to join and then let them know what are the vision, missions, and goals of the council, kung saan patutungo ang council. So it must be explained to them.
Ma'am, ang kanina lang na nasabi niyo po na kaka-appoint lang, no, yung from the Kalimudan. Now, how does the council prevent itself from being identified as a government organization? Kasi sinasabi po natin, it's representing the civil society. Paano kung sabihin ng mga tao, hindi, lahat naman nasa gobyerno yan. So, paano kami mare-represent dito? What is that line that separates you from them po?
So, yun po I would like to correct that statement na hindi po government organization ang council or the LDSPC, no? Ito po ay partner. Partner po ito ng Lanao del Sur Lanao del Sur government through per Sangguniang Pandalawigan Resolution number 005. So, ito po, hindi po tayo government organization but rather an independent body po. So, we cannot be influenced by a government agency, though we've been given a space here, office dito po sa Capitol, dahil isa po yun din sa parang commitment ng ating gobyerno ng Lanao Sur na bigyan po tayo ng office space and then the logistics as well and other technical assistance. So yan po ang mga committed assistance provided by our provincial government to the council.
Now, doon naman po tayo sa usapin tungkol sa local economic development and poverty alleviation. Ano po yung role or nagiging contribution ng council dito?
So, yan po ang ini-emphasize natin na ang mga through the local government code na dapat bigyan po ng puwang ang ating mga NGOs to participate in governance through membership ng ating mga local development, local special bodies. Ano po itong mga local special bodies? So ito po first is the Local Development Council. So pag tayo po ay naging membro ng ating Local Development Council, doon po natin maipapasok or ma-inject kung ano talaga ang problema or hinaing ng ating mga community people. So, mabibigyan po natin sila ng priority. No? So, hanggat ang council na ito or the Local Development Council ay wala pong klaro na membership ng ating council, so hindi natin masasabi na we can really contribute to the economic development of the province. But as an individual, I'm really fortunate to be a member of the technical working group of the provincial development body, no? So minsan nakakasali po tayo diyan, but ito kailangan din na mayroon tayong membership dito sa Local Development Council na ito. Na alam natin sa under the Local Government Code ay 1/4 of the total membership, no? So medyo marami-rami po ang dapat na membro ng ating NGOs dito. So pangalawa po dito ay itong Local Peace and Order Council, no? So para po makasali po din tayo kasi previously in the last year ata ay we facilitated the Provincial Peace and Order Council, no, for the province. So as facilitator, at least nainganyo natin ang gobernador na at saka ng DILG to conduct the simultaneous Peace and Order Council. And then later on, the Provincial Peace and Order Council, dahil na rin din yun sa natin, gusto nating makatulong din sa mga problema noon. And alam natin, no, lahat tayo dito sa Lanao Sur, alam natin ang cocoa problem that time. So, yun po ang naisipan namin na dapat we have to call or convene the Peace and Order Council. So, nangyari po. So, ito din sa yung feedback naman, yung pre-qualification and bidding sa committee, dapat din may NGO dito para ma-monitor natin kung ilan yung talaga bang nangyayari, yung yung bidding natin sa ating mga before the implementation of our development programs and projects. So, then we have also the pinaka-importante din dito, yung local school board. So, kailangan convene din ito, and then there must be a membership from the NGO din na dapat nandoon din sila para malaman din natin kung is this council is really working. Lalo na dito sa dito sa Special Educational Fund na sila mismo ang humahawak dito. So nandyan ba 'yon? Yung fund na yan. Dito naman sa health board, kailangan din ma-monitor natin kung ang mga community people really na-access ba sila ng ating mga basic services like the health, no? Yung mga bakuna ng mga bata na mayroon bang regular sa atool. Hindi naman sa atin ay nakikialam tayo sa trabaho ng Department of Health, but pinaparating lang natin na hey, may isang munisipyo dito na hindi man lang nabakunahan yung mga anak nila, so kailangan mabakunahan. So ganun lang. So we've been fortunate also na yung NGO ko, no, yung Mindanao Center for Local Governance, i-mention ko na lang na naging partner din ito ng IPHO. Kasi minsan din kami naka-implement ng community-based primary healthcare sa bayan. So nandoon yung botika ng barangay. So we give at least a capital of 50,000 for each butika ng barangay, and then naging successful naman. So yun nga, sa health dapat alam natin na talagang lahat ng ito ay nakakarating sa ating mga community people o hindi. So yun po ang pinakamahalaga dito na mission po ng ating council.
I see. Now, correct me if I'm wrong po, ma'am, no? Ini-evaluate or minomonitor ang different departments or offices ng ating provincial government. Paano po ito ginagawa? Do they submit to you reports? And then when you do get reports from them, saan naman po idudulong ang mga reports na ito? If a certain office is not functioning well or may mga reports or complaints sa kanila, paano po natin nare-resolve ang mga problems sa tulad nun?
Sa level po ng council, hindi po tayo nagre-resolve. No, tayo, recommendatory lang po sa mga decision making na pwedeng gawin ng ating mga heads of offices, lalo na ng ating gobernador. So, pag mayroon po tayong nakikitang dapat sabihin, sinasabi lang natin. That is for decision making. Oo. Kaya nga sabi ko, recommendatory lang. Kasi hindi tayo pwedeng makialam. So, sino nga ba ang CSO na to? So, hanggang doon lang po sila magsabi kung ano ito, magsabi ng problema, nasa gobyerno na po ang response nito.
So, what the council does, correct me if I'm wrong, is to get the attention of the concerned officials about what's happening. Pero hindi kayo nakikialam. You just try to inform them, parang kaya feedbacks lang, okay? Now, my next question po has something to do with the decision making po na nasabi nyo kanina, no? Paano po ba tayo, ang council po ba ay nakaka-contribute sa policy change? Because it has been a cry of a lot of society or people. So, paano po sila nakaka-contribute doon? At saka po doon sa pag-attain ng accountability and transparency to achieve good governance in our province. Ano naman po yung role doon ng council? Yung sa transparency and accountability po para sa good governance, ano po ang role doon ng council and policy change?
So, doon po sa sinasabi natin na policy change, malaki po ang magiging role ng council dito. Yung sinasabi ko na for information. So, sinasabi po natin sa ating gobyerno na ito po yung mga problema ng ating mga kababayan na kung pwede lang po ay ito ay tugunan. So, isa po yun. So, malaki po yung contribution ng ating for policy change. Kasi kung walang magsasabi sa isang decision maker kung ano ang pwede niyang gawin, ay walang mangyayari. It is really an advisory body as stated in our bylaws, no? So, sinasabi lang natin na ganito, kung pwede nga lang ganito. So, pero wala kaming karapatan to implement. Ganun lang po 'yon. So, sabi ko nga, itong policy, okay, yes. Ulitin ko ulit, yung policy change, being a representative of the community people, we try to bridge and we try to link the problem. Kaya sinasabi natin, if we try to define what is good governance, sa aking definition ng good governance is constituency responsive governance. So pag natugunan yung problema ng mga tao, there is really good governance. And accountable and at least transparent din ang ating gobyerno sa ganun paraan.
So, everybody can participate. It's not just the leaders. And my voice, my voice yung mga civil society natin through the council. So, maganda nga yun, no? Now, doon po tayo, ma'am, sa usapin tungkol sa Millennium Development Goals. Kasi palagi po natin naririnig, nababasa, napapanood. Ano naman po ang contribution natin doon?
Sa akin po ay very simple lang po ang ating yung Millennium Development Goals natin ay pag natugunan at nakuha natin what is good governance, ay nandoon lahat. Yes, nandoon na lahat. Yes.
Now, doon na po tayo sa meat ng ating interview, no? Ano na po ang mga naging accomplishments ng council? At dito po sa mga accomplishments na to, ano po yung naging contribution or naitulong po ng ating provincial governor na si Governor Mamintal Bombit Adyong sa mga accomplishments and projects and programs na ito?
Okay, so from the very start talaga ay yung sinabi ko na may commitment po ang ating governor. Then naka-line up na po yung mga activities. So ito po yung first is yung mga gumawa po tayo na we facilitated a consultation meeting with the government. So, sumali po ang ating regional government, pati na yung cabinet niya. So, pumunta po dito si Hataman, and that was his first day of duty po sa Lanao Sur. So, napakaganda po ang resulta nun. Dito po tayo sa social hall. And then, he even contributed. So, sabi ni Gob, at least, yung ibang expenses ay na-shoulder ng regional government. And then nandoon po si General Lucero din, and then na-contribute din sila. So, hindi po man na mahirap sa atin, no? So, sa council naman, on their part, we do the secretariat work, and then lahat. So, yun nga, naging facilitator kami doon. And then, a series of meetings, consultations, and then, merong activities din tayo na ginawa, yung building partnership. So, tinulungan din kami noon ni Sir Lucero that time. And he even sourced out a little amount from the regional governor, Hataman. And then pumunta din siya dito. Then after that, because of the regional, general registration for the whole of ARM. So, yun. So, and then after that, nagkaroon tayo ng problema sa Cocos Camp. So, yun. Nandoon din si Hataman, we facilitated that meeting, yung PPOC. So, at least maganda ang focus on Coco problem ang nangyari. So, hindi naging PPOC, kundi Coco problem ang concentration. Kasi hiniling talaga nila, pati na si Governor, sabi niya, okay, we will concentrate for today for the Coco problem and now other things to be discussed. So, yun po ang nangyari doon. So, at least nandoon po si Regional Governor Hataman din, participated then, and then ang pinakaano din dito is yung covenant signing, peace covenant signing of all candidates. Nag-round po kami all over province and Marawi City. Kapartner natin dito ang mga CSOs, all the council members, and nandiyan po ang COMELEC, and then the military, PNP, and the 103rd Brigade. So, yun po ang pinakamalaking accomplishment din natin na naging peaceful din yung 2013 the election as well as the registration. So, nag-monitor po kami and then naging bantay. Kami, yung role namin doon. Kasi ang leader namin talaga is si Sir Lucero that time. And then, nangyari na nawala po siya dito and then pumalit po si Colonel Macasero and ipinagpatuloy po ni Sir Macasero kung ano yung iniwan na trabaho ni Sir Lucero. So we are very thankful really na nandyan po ang military. Kasi kung ang hindi maisuporta ni Gob, ay nandyan po sila. So kahit kaunting panggasolina, kasi yun po usually na binibigay niya na, okay, punta kayo doon sa munisipyo, okay, andito yung gasoline na allowance ninyo. Or binibigyan kami talaga, binalagyan yung sasakyan ng gasolina. So at least yung logistics, no problem. Technical assistance, no problem. These are all provided by our provincial government, by our regional government, as well as the military and other partners. So doon din sa sa registration and then the election, may CSO partner po tayo, nandyan po ang Maradika. They have the seeker. And another accomplishment po ay yung when we conducted the provincial consultation on CAB. Yun. So andito po ang lahat ng BTC, Bangsamoro Transition Commission, and then with their counterpart from the government, and then we have all the CSOs. So at least nakaintindihan po tayo sa about what is this all about, the FAB, the CAB. Ang hindi po nangyari pa ay yung so we are trying to have also a consultation with the BBL, itong Bangsamoro Basic Law. So just 2 weeks ago, nag-request po ang 103rd Brigade to lecture on CAB and then partly on the BBL. So ako po yung nagbigay sa kanila doon po sa kampo mismo. Yung mga commanders nila, parang division commanders and then other enlisted men nila. So, sa mga meetings, consultation, marami na po tayong nakandak dito sa province. And then, I'm very thankful to the provincial government. Nandyan po yung mga facilities like the conference room. Binigay po yan ni Governor and other logistics matters.
Maraming salamat po. I'm very sure marami pong natutunan ang ating viewers po sa ating interview with Professor Noni. Na kung meron pong mga gustong makatanungan or mga concerns na gustong idulong ang ating civil society from the province, sino po ang pwede nilang i-contact or puntahan or kausapin po?
Okay, so nakabase po tayo dito sa itong nandito po yung natin, New Capitol Complex yung opisina po natin, nandyan sa likod, pwede po nila ako i-contact. So, ito pong natin, council na ito, ay meron din kaming mga other assistance that could be provided to our LGUs like planning and budgeting as well as So, marami po tayong dito, mga brochure or mga manuals na kung gusto nilang magtanong, so pwede po tayong sumagot sa kanilang mga katanungan. So, just yesterday, mayroon po akong nakuhang memorandum ni Regional Governor Hataman na suspending the TISP program dahil sa problema sa DAP. Kasi part of that fund for TISP is DAP. Kaya sinuspende niya yung TISP implementation. Hindi ko alam kung ano yun. So, yan po ang so, nakaschedule na po ang council to monitor and evaluate programs of the province as well as in Marawi City.
Maraming salamat po, Professor Noni, sa inyong pagpapaunlak po dito sa interview. And I hope that you all learned a lot from this. If you have any further questions, available po ang mga kasama natin sa Provincial Information Office. Again, maraming salamat, Ma'am Noni. And sana po hindi ito yung huli na mag-uusap tayo. Sana may future pa po tayong interview.
So, anyway, this would be our starting point. So, sana marami din kaming maibigay na informasyon sa inyo. I'm really very happy na nandyan po kayo, lady, sa PIO. Ngayon lang po na parang nabuksan ang mata ng ating mga madlang people na pwede nilang makita kung ano talagang nangyayari sa province, no? Ito na pala yon. So that is through your effort, madam. Salamat din po.
Thank you. Salamat po sa inyong panunood at pagsubaybay sa ating programa. Muli po niyo akong samahan dito lang po sa Ranaw TV Channel 13 next week on Wednesday, 7:30 a.m. and 7:30 p.m. Ito po ang inyong lingkod, ang inyong Provincial Information Officer, Lady Hanifa R. Mindalano. This has been the Capital Updates.
كلمة طيبة صدقة تبسم لأخيك صدقة كل معروف صدقة أمن بين يدي قلب لله كل قلب